understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
There is all kinds of awful that happens in this swamp.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
I started up a security firm.
I'd really like to meet Batman.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
Finally, a superhero team I can actually get behind.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, August 3rd, 2019. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sara Netzley, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
Okay, stay with me. We have, Ed, am I correct about this? 2 series finales.
Yes.
A series premiere.
Uh-huh.
And Krypton.
Yes. So
okay.
That's 4 altogether.
Yes, that is what we have for you this week. And I gotta say, I'm recording this alone in my little podcast setup in a room in my house, and I hate it. I've had a taste of live podcast around the table with real people, and I can't go back, man. You can't make me go back.
I don't know. There's a couple colleges on Staten Island.
It's true. I could see if they're hiring any bitter, jaded academics who are in the coasting stage of their career. Think they've got room for me there. So I'll look into it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. It is different. It's a different vibe. But we could still have a lot of fun.
I have high hopes for this episode. We have news for you. We have tons of news. We're saying goodbye to some shows we really liked.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. Lot of emotional stuff. But first off, we haven't talked much since last week. So I guess I can ask Sara, how was the show? How was Moulin Rouge?
Great. So, we had an adventure getting there in that we missed the ferry by literally 20 seconds. Like, they shut the door in our noses and we were like, but wait, we have to. And they just sort of shrugged with and if that package sniffing dog, and I mean package that you hold, that the stuff that Bill didn't go to the post office to send, that we carried onto the ferry, delayed us while the cute little golden lab sniffed it. Very good boy. That's what delayed us. And so we had to take an Uber, and we're like, if you can get us to the theater by 7:45, there's a tip for you. So it was quite an adventure. That, I guess, is how I ended up seeing a Broadway show on opening week in ripped jeans, and Jason was in a Bizarro t-shirt because we did not have time to go change. So I am very sorry, Broadway. We besmirched you with our clothing. We had the best of intentions, but a dog waylaid us, as dogs so often do. The show was great. Moulin Rouge. 2 thumbs up.
Yay!
Yeah. So we had a great time in New York. I'm so glad we made the trip to Staten Island. That was wonderful. Meeting you two was incredible, and Bob as well. Yeah, that was a highlight of the trip. So thank you for arranging that.
Yep. You got to eat galamad. and you guys eat pizza with a fork. Wow. Okay. That's fine. That's a choice. I
folded my pizza. I adapted to you natives.
Well, it was really fun because Lee's crust is so thin, and to see you guys try to like break that off with a fork, it was like, oh man, come on.
We have manners. We were raised by mothers with manners.
But all right.
I will admit, I did get the thickest deepest dish pizza I could find this past week when we got home, just to like balance my karma.
Yes. Well, maybe one day I will make it out to Illinois and I will try to eat deep dish with my hands, and we'll see how that works out.
I was going to say, I cannot wait to see how you deal with that without a fork. Good luck, sir. Try folding that.
Oh, all right. By the way, thank you to all the well wishes we got from people. From Dan and Bowerfett. Bowerfett seemed to be really hard on critiquing all of the stuff that Bill has decorating his home.
Bill has a distinctive decorating style that I quite appreciated.
Yes. I wish he did more artwork. I think some of his artwork is really unique.
Executive producer Bill Sweeney, if you're listening to this, do more artwork.
Yeah. Get on that. All right. Quick note, because people have been asking, because the first 3 episodes of Pennyworth on Epix are available on demand. We will only be doing the first episode this week, because that's what is aired on television, and because tomorrow night, the day after we record this, the second episode will be airing. So that's what we're going to cover in the order that they air. It's nice that those 3 episodes are available. You can go watch them, but for content purposes, we're just going to be doing 1 episode a week.
Which is a disappointment to Jason, who wanted to watch all 3 last night. And I was just like, no, that's going to be too confusing for me. So I'm going to try to pump the brakes on my eager husband. We'll see how that goes.
All right. You ready to jump in, Sarah?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First up is Pennyworth series pilot. Fresh out of the Royal Army, Alfred Pennyworth was trying to get his security business off the ground, but spent most nights as the doorman at a London nightclub. After sending his drunk sister back to America, Thomas Wayne investigated a fraud scheme being perpetrated by the Raven Society. Lord Harwood, chief of the anarchic Raven Society, dispatched the vicious Bet Sykes to kidnap Alfred's girlfriend Esme to get Alfred to bring them Thomas Wayne. Last minute reveal, Lord Harwood was dragged through prison crying out that he'd be back.
Listen, it's not too late. You could still be a butler before you're 40.
Oh.
So here is my gut reaction take on this show. That is a veritable panoply of British accents. There were so many accents for us to deal with in that show. It was delightful.
Yes.
But it was a lot.
Yes, I would agree. There was a lot. My mother loved every word of it.
Well, she's a big Anglophile. This is not surprising.
Yes. I thought it was great. I thought the 60s feel was perfect. You could definitely tell that they're channeling like the Connery era Bond films. And yeah. I thought the vibe, the fashion, the hairstyles, everything about this was just cool.
It was cool
and interesting.
I love the alt history of it. I love that they've got like gibbets and airships and people in stocks. Oh my. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. That slightly different take on things. I thought the actor who plays Alfred he looks like a 60s guy. I don't know how to explain that. He just looks 60s, right? Like his face, like not costuming and styling. His face looks like he's from the 60s.
Yeah. And the acute angle on that widow's peak.
That widow's peak is epic.
God damn.
He could stab somebody. That's some like, Dracula level.
like, I'm wondering, like, is that because I know like Brandon Routh's spit curl in his Superman movie was like a prosthetic. Like, did they like mount that hair on him? Is he really bald, or like, because it is just like that's got to be like a 20-degree angle, man.
It is extreme.
It is this sharp V that just goes straight into his hairline.
Jason's question for it is, if the show takes off, does Alfred spend the off season shooting testosterone, and does he come back as a buff 2019 hero is the question.
Well, I mean, we heard about his exercise regimen last week.
Yes, we did. But I like that kind of unassuming guy is quite good at what he does, which is violence. So.
Yes. Yeah, and it's interesting because like the two things that you know about Alfred's past in the comics is that he was a field medic during a war. You know, which war varies depending on the era of the comics. But also that he was a Shakespearean actor in a repertory company. Like, those are the two sides of him. And it's interesting to see, like, they're definitely playing up that he was in here. They're basically saying that he was British SAS. That he was like covert ops, basically like the British version of the Green Berets. And the acting side, they're leaving for his girlfriend Esme.
Yes, who
and I thought that
has very strong young Jodie Foster energy. Did you notice that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. Now that you mention it.
It was all I could see. But yeah, you're right. She does the dramatic soliloquy in public, and he looked a little startled.
Yeah.
I thought there is no more British way to open a show than with a fox hunt set to paint it black. It was like, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Like Bet Sykes, the bad guy here, is, you know, I described her as vicious, and she definitely is. But the thing that I think is cool about this show is that, like, no one's like overtly like super powered strong. Mm-hmm. Everyone's on an even. All the characters are an even level when it comes to like strength and fighting ability. So
yeah, well, and they're all human. So
yeah. But I mean, like Esme tangles with Bet Sykes and is able to win her over for a second and escape. Mm-hmm. And like when everything's cornered, and all of a sudden, someone lowers their guard down for a weapon, even Alfred's parents can give people a shellacking.
I mean, to be fair, I think you had to be pretty scrappy to be in the serving class in the 60s. So, yeah.
Yes. And when they kept both of my parents enjoyed that scene. And when they just kept kicking and kicking and kicking. There was like a lot of cheer moments happening this week, but like that was like the particular pumped up moment for this episode.
Let's see. There were a lot of cheer moments. Good action. I have one complaint, and that is that Thomas Wayne's mustache is stupid. Yeah, I said it. Is that canonical? Does Thomas Wayne have a mustache?
Usually, yes. Yes, he does have a mustache.
It's dumb. Says me.
The type of mustache varies. Although I will say that mustache does make sense for the period.
I suppose.
That was that.
I realize that I have very strong opinions about who Thomas Wayne is, and they are all exclusively formed from the Batman the Animated Series episode Beware the Grey Ghost. That is my Thomas Wayne, and I don't like that this Thomas Wayne is not that Thomas Wayne. That's all I'll say about that.
Time for little gray ghosts to go to bed.
It was so good. I want that Thomas Wayne. Give me that one. Also, I'm so sorry. I don't know any of their names. They're all old British men. But that one old British man had quite a cape. Ed, which one was that? The cape.
Oh, you're talking about Lord Harwood, the main bad guy?
Is that? Yes.
Yes.
I want that cape. See what you can do.
Yes. Well, played by Jason Fleming, who is in a lot of the early Guy Ritchie and Matthew Vaughn movies. It's nice to see him acting again. I was very happy to see him. Do you remember Kick-Ass?
I do.
Yes, he's the guy who's in like the lobby when Hit Girl shows up in the Catholic schoolgirl uniform, and just shoves the giant gun in his mouth.
Yes, gotcha. All right. Yes.
So yeah. And what's interesting is like this is a closed story loop. You think, okay, they caught Lord Harwood, they busted up the Raven Society. Like, what happens next?
I feel like we're going to get a different bird. That bird is going to be an owl. I mean, right?
Maybe the Raven Society is bigger than Lord Harwood. I mean, he did say.
He did make certain promises. You're correct.
Yeah. And I think having Thomas Wayne working CIA, or he works for a company. I thought that was an interesting angle. So I mean, it's I'm liking here. What did you think of Alfred's posse?
They were the ones who had the most accents.
Yes.
That they're good. I like them. I like the strapping young man of it all. I like that one of them said Sassenach, which always makes me happy because I'm an Outlander person. So, okay. They were fun. What did you think?
I thought they were good. Baza seems to be the smart one, and Dave Boy, oh boy. I can't remember if he's Irish or Scottish, but he is definitely that.
He is definitely a step away from Train Spotting. No.
Yes. There's always a guy in the group who loves guns like way too much, and Dave Boy is that guy in this group.
Yes.
Oh, all right. So I think this is a strong start. This is a strong start for this show.
I will say I was unaware of the running time when I started this a little later than we usually start things, and it just kept going. And I finally looked; it was 71 minutes long. I watched feature films that were shorter than that. What?
Yeah. Like this is longer than Ants. This is longer than Ants with Woody Allen.
I just of all the movies for comparison, Ants. All right, awesome.
I mean. That's the only movie of that length that I can remember, like that was made in like the last 20 years. So it was either that or like one of the Abbott and Costello movies. But
you're pushing the limits of 20 years with that, aren't you? Wasn't that 99-ish?
Yeah. No. I was saying like I wanted to do something more recent that was 70 minutes.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Because usually even like B movies now are 90 minutes.
Anyway.
All right. Cool. Was anything more you wanted to say about the episode? Was there any news?
No, and no real news either. We're just we'll see you next week for episode 2.
All right. Next up, Krypton, season 2, episode 8, Mercy. Lyta was alive, trapped in a fantasy world created by an alien creature called the Black Mercy. General Zod had Lysser extract toxin from the Black Mercy to see if it could make Doomsday subservient. Seg, Nissa, Dev, and Jaina hatched a plan to infiltrate Fort Raz and disrupt Zod's fleet. Last minute reveal, General Zod discovered Lyta had escaped, moved up the assault on Wegthor, and noticed the Black Mercy was still breathing.
So Krypton. And I liked this episode. But
good.
I also didn't like this episode.
Oh.
I liked the dream sequence stuff. I really enjoyed seeing Lyta have this whole other dream life. Like that was really cool. And from just an aesthetic point of view, it was pretty. the hair, the costumes, the set. It was really pretty.
Yeah. I thought, yes. You got to see Kryptonopolis. You got to see another Kryptonian city, which seemed like it was faring much better than Kandor. Oh,
wait, I just put it together. It's because there was sunlight. It's because they actually had windows and outside. That's why I liked it. That is how you get Sara to like a Krypton episode. You let her see fresh air. But I gotta be honest, it undercut the power of Lightest. You bring her back, and it just takes away any stakes and urgency. And I didn't want her to die. I don't want her to be dead, but I don't want them to undo that story choice. So that is what was a problem for me.
You know what? I agree with you. I would agree with you. And normally, like, I hate it when they go back on these types of things, especially when it's been a couple of episodes and like we've accepted the death. But the fact that they used like an element from the comics, like Black Mercy, to bring it back, it immediately turned me into a little bitch and been like, oh my God, this was awesome. This is so cool. This is a great idea. This is the greatest idea ever. Because I was just happy. Oh my God, Black Mercy. Oh, wow. They used that from the comics. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
Aw. So I'm happy for you.
So for those of you not familiar, there was a comics run, I believe it was written by Neil Gaiman. If not, it was Alan Moore. It was someone British. I think it's called Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. And it's Superman being taken over by the Black Mercy and put into this dream fantasy state. And Supergirl did an episode.
I was just going to say, and if you're like me and much more well-versed in the TV lore, Supergirl had Black Mercy.
Yes. Yeah, there was a Supergirl episode with Black Mercy. So to see that show up here, and also like, showing General Zod, had a whole life on Earth battling Superman before he got to Krypton. And, it seems somehow he got his hands on a Black Mercy and has used it on his own mother.
Yeah. Oh. Well, he's not a very good son. There, I said it. Also, can we just take a second? Jaina has some guns. Like biceps, like not actually, her arms are incredible.
Yeah, and that was the other thing about the fantasies is you see all of these characters dressed to the nines, like they're going to a wedding, which they are.
Loved it. Also, can we just take a second to talk about that Superman S reveal, like the Christopher Reeve like unbutton, pull open S that Seg did? That was
yes,
yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that was cool. And the second he's like, "Oh, your mom helped me get this back," I'm like, "Oh, this isn't real."
Oh yeah. And ordinarily, I'm very anti-dream sequence. I don't know. This has elements of stuff that I usually don't like, but I enjoyed it. I guess this is one of the episodes I enjoyed more than most of the others. So my reaction was very confusing to me. But thank you, Krypton. I think mostly. So
yeah.
Yeah. Also, I didn't have to hear the word Wegthorpe all that often, which helps my enjoyment of an episode.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get anything on Wegthor this episode. I guess because they were cut off. So maybe next week we'll get all Wegthor.
Oh, why would you? Why would you put that out into the world?
But yeah, and we see Zod, prepping Doomsday, and he's very demanding of Lysser, his chief scientist.
Yeah, look, she has carefully applied that makeup. She is there for him, and he is just spitting demands at her like, dude, a little honey goes a little farther than vinegar. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And okay, all right. So you had the whole thing of we had the heist or them infiltrating Fort Roz and getting captured and then getting freed again. So and it seems like Seg and Nyssa have sort of formed this bond together. Like, okay, we're in this together. We're going to find our son. It seems like, Seg's ready to be a family man now. And like, he's ready to be with Nyssa. And then Lyta shows up and they don't hug. They immediately go for each other.
In front of Nyssa.
Really really intense, like 90-second Frencher.
And this is just like, oh, cool. So I thought, I was wrong. I'll leave you to it. I'll just be here looking for my missing baby. Okay, God bless. Use a condom. Yeah.
And Seg doesn't even turn back and go, sorry. I am very confused and bewildered by that moment. Sarah, could you please, because I know you're the one who's versed in romance novels and stories. Like, what's the deal here? What is the deal?
I don't know, because I noted that as well. Like, poor Nyssa. I don't know what her and Seg's relationship was shaping up to be. It seemed like a partnership, but like with affection and respect. And that feels like it could have been, groundwork for something more. And then Lyta comes back. And again, I'm very happy. But like, don't break out in front of Nyssa. There's some weird... I'm not sure. And Nyssa herself is such a cool customer that I don't even know what she was like. I have no idea where that character is right now emotionally. So
yeah. Not to mention Dev, who was supposed to be bound to Lyta and has been having a terrible month.
It really is. Yeah.
His city gets taken over by a maniac. He gets driven out. He loses his job. He has to spend like a week in the mountains, and then he hooks up with his supposedly dead fiance's mom. And all of a sudden, he finds out they're alive, and she goes for the other guy who's already married.
I hope that this show just becomes a tour of making out in front of the person who would hurt the most to see it happen. That I'd be really into. I feel like that would have to be Adam making out with somebody in front of Lobo, wouldn't it? So I'm just saying, show, if you want to, like, that is the way to my heart. I'm not proud of it.
Yeah. Well, and then what's going to happen on the show is Kem is going to get a girlfriend, and Adam's going to be like, "You really? Wow! Oh, I would have never."
Adam will neg him for an entire episode. We're writing fanfic at this point. I'm into it.
All right. So yeah. That's what's up. So, at this point, now that Black Mercy's walking around, do you think, is Zod just going to throw Black Mercy onto Doomsday and see what happens? Or, is that how he's going to get him to be subservient? Or...
is Zod more strategic than just throw a bunch of stuff at this monster creature? I'm genuinely asking. I don't know.
I mean, he's meant to be the greatest military strategist in the history of Krypton. So you would think.
Yeah. But is the show showing us that? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think he's a little compromised emotionally. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we have 2 episodes left, right?
2 episodes. Yeah. So we're coming down to the wire here. This is getting intense.
So you could Black Mercy Doomsday next week and then have Doomsday just destroy everybody in the finale? I mean, is that kind of what we're expecting?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. And we've seen we've seen shots of Lobo, so there's a 50-50 chance we get Lobo next week.
Didn't we say that last week?
Well, we said there's a chance.
I mean, I feel like I was promised Lobo this week is what I'm saying.
Yeah. That was the case. But we know they shot something, and where the hell is Brainiac? Is he gonna even come back this season? Yeah. All right. So stuff on Krypton to look forward to.
And I kind of am, to my surprise. So
all right,
there's that.
Any news for Krypton?
Nope, not really. Just keep on rolling.
All right, now it's time to get serious. Big moment. Our next episode is iZombie. Series finale. All's well that ends well. Liv, Ravi, and Clive flew home with the Utopium, trying not to get recognized as a renegade. Major had to deal with Enzo, who who was preparing Fillmore Graves for war with Dolly and the Deadenders. Blaine thought he could let the Freilich kids die in his basement, and Peyton would be just fine dating him. Last minute reveal, 10 years later. Liv and Major hung out with Clive, Ravi, and Peyton in a virtual chat and asked them to come visit their hidden mansion on Zombie Island.
Well, thank you, iZombie, for many good seasons. Godspeed. Yeah. And I liked parts of this finale, but I don't know. What did you think?
I love this finale.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I thought it was one of the tightest finales I've ever seen. In terms of mixing things up, they had a lot to get through.
They did.
And I feel like they did the best that they could patching things up and doing storylines. And usually when you do like the big giant time jump, I get all mad. But I actually think it worked out well. And the execution here, I was very impressed with.
It ended everything in a place that left me feeling good about all the characters. I was surprised actually by the number of happy endings everybody got. I'm pleased. I don't want sadness for people, but it surprised me that all the main couples ended up happy and together and this and that. So that was nice. I liked that. Thank you, Rob Thomas. I liked the happy ending. I do think Dolly needed more of a comeuppance. It sounds like she's just still out there after murdering her zombie son, knowing there's a cure. What?
Yeah. It felt like they were doing a little bit just to kind of leave you, Dolly, you're right. She's the worst. She's the worst. So yeah, Dolly, you wish you could have gotten some closure, but I thought it's weird that like now people don't believe that she existed in the first place, which is.
Yeah, I did like that the time jump allowed us to do some people say there have been sightings, and it was fun to see how the mythology of the characters we've been following morphed over 10 years. That Ravi is Dr. Curegood. I love that he's the head of the CDC. That's so nice. So that was kind of cool to see how those stories change and grow and twist. That I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and more so the thing that really impressed me with this finale is you had so many twists and turns, like just even at commercial breaks, where I thought the story was going one way and I was shocked, and then the way it kind of like smoothed things out, like you thought that Liv was going to get made as Renegade on that plane, and then it turns out no, the flight attendant was actually wanting to help them.
That was actually my favorite part of the episode, believe it or not. I was surprised by that. Like, you expect one thing and then it goes the other way, and it was nice. I mean, it was just nice that she was grateful and
yeah.
I did also enjoy she thinks I'm Kristen Bell.
Yeah,
because all along everybody who watched Veronica Mars thought that. So
yeah, and then also like when Peyton got shot down, I was inconsolable in that moment. I thought, oh, this is how they're doing it. Oh man, how could they? And like that makes sense. She's the one human person that wasn't going to turn, and then you come back and you see her, and she's a zombie, and you're like, oh
yeah. In my notes, I have in all caps, Ed called it. Because I believe you had said that you were worried about either Peyton or Robbie. The Peyton becomes a zombie, that it just felt like the thing they always kind of wanted to do. And I'm sure, that was, fans really enjoyed that. So that was good. I was surprised at how bad I felt for Nani in the end.
Yeah. And it's weird because like he finally gets that moment that we've been waiting for all season for him, where he pushes Blaine down that well, and like I cheered when that moment happened. That was the big cheer moment, was when Donnie pushed him in the well. I'm like, yeah, and then Liv comes out of nowhere and pushes Donnie down the well, and is like, you deserve each other, and like that's the one moment in this, like, oh, I don't know if Donnie deserved that. I mean,
I know I mean, he's a sycophant and he's also been quite evil, but
yeah,
I don't know. He's just so likable. Also, all's well that ends well. Well, that was,
yeah. And I mean, you know, he was the second hand man in this horrible scheme that Blaine had cooked. And, you know, he was, you know, they were literally killing kids in their basement to sell zombie cures. So, you know, on paper, yeah, he's guilty and should probably fry. But
and really, what better punishment for Blaine than to be stuck with Donnie for an eternity? I mean,
yeah. And let's not forget, Clive and Dale. Dale had the baby.
She did.
She had the baby.
She did.
And it turns out they named it Olivia.
Which was another psych out, trying to make us think Liv was dead.
Yes, you know. Yes, yeah. But that moment I thought was really cool. I thought the idea that she was in labor and refusing to push until he got there. That was intense. That's that was about to get very dangerous. But yeah, there was a lot to enjoy about this episode.
I was genuinely distressed by the number of Romeo and Juliet style, I think my loved one is dead. They did that with like every couple, I swear. And I am a little disappointed that we didn't see Robbie find out that Peyton was alive. That's weird that they didn't show us that.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we saw her alive, I thought that was fine. And, you know,
no, I wanted to see Robbie see that she was alive.
Okay. I mean, but they ended up together in the end, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
They're enjoying their time in Atlanta. She's a DA. She's doing her thing.
Okay. The zombie brothel, the undercover DC zombies, all the Romeros, Liv and Major deciding to stay as zombies. I just feel like there was some things that were not tied up. Are they raising those children forever? I don't know, man. Raising children forever seems like a nightmare.
But I think it's them. I think it's on brand for them. That kind of makes sense to me, you know.
Well, Liv choosing to stay a zombie to investigate crimes would have made sense for me, but I just don't 100% understand why you wouldn't take the cure if you and Major can both do that. I don't know. It just felt a little rushed. The good feelings made me feel good. I'm glad everybody was happy, but I just wanted a little bit more, you know.
Well, I think that's also the interesting conundrum that last moment presented is when all of the zombie kids, you know, showed up at the house and they were like, well, do we have to take the cure? Because the whole reason they became zombies was because they were terminally ill, you know? So zombieism was a salvation for them. And someone's got to take care of those kids because, you know, a lot of them don't have parents anymore or they don't have people who want them.
But are they going to mentally age to where they can be self-sufficient? Is this going to be an interview with the vampire Claudia thing where she eventually loses her mind because she's an adult in a child's body? Like, there were implications. There were implications.
Well, I don't think this is that kind of show.
So sorry. Well, this show made us think about things, and I'm sorry if I'm thinking about things.
Yeah, but I...
Also... Can we just take a second to say hello to Chad Lowell, who came back as the virtual podcast guy? That is Piz from Veronica Mars, the most hated character. So for him to show up was fun. That's fun. But I have to believe that 10 years from now, virtual reality technology is going to be better. That headset was big, is what I'm saying. I have to believe we're going to have better VR in 10 years.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't really use VR now, so.
I mean, what? I'm sorry, you're not on VR right now with me?
No.
What? I feel like sets are kind of like that now, so I'm hoping it's better in 10 years. Yeah. Yeah, so I super love the show. It reinvented itself every season. I'm glad that they gave us Major shirtless one more time. Thank you for that. You know, it was good. I'm grateful that it was in our lives.
Good. All right. All right. All right. Was there any news for iZombie?
Just, some postmortems with Rob Thomas. He talked about one of the big regrets that he had was he really wanted to have Liv's family in the finale. He just didn't have time because, as you pointed out, it was a tight finale. But he was kind of hoping to have them on the plane to Portland. Not sure how that would have worked, but he just didn't have time. He said that not having a happy ending for Liv and Major and really everybody was never in the cards. They always planned on that. It was just some nice thoughts that he had, and it kind of ties in. There's some Veronica Mars stuff in there too, because he had two shows that are kind of came back and the seasons ended at the same time. So, he seemed pleased with how he ended things. So. Good stuff. Oh, and he also said that a movie is probably not in the works. He loved the cast. It was a really happy experience for him, but it's just not the kind of show that is going to have a resurgence as a standalone movie. So we get what we get, which makes sense. I mean, the 10-year time jump kind of makes that clear.
Yeah, I think it ended on its own terms. I think it was a fitting ending. There's enough there that it's like, man, there's still questions, but nothing major. So I'm happy with this one. I don't need any more.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And I'm gonna miss this show.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I am excited to see what the cast goes on to do because I like all of them so much.
Yeah. All right. One last episode to get through, Sarah. You ready?
I am never ready for this, but it's got to be done.
All right. Swamp Thing. Series finale. Loose ends. Daniel Cassidy finally got to drive out of Murray. The Swamp Thing had to fend off a gaggle of Conclave mercenaries. Abby discovered Jason Woodrue had tied up his wife and experimented with the Swamp Thing's organs. A drunk Avery Sunderland went to visit Lucilia Cable at Matt's bedside. Last-minute reveal, Jason Woodrue, now transformed into the Floronic Man, attacked Matt Cable.
The Cable family had a bad night last night.
Yeah, that was rough.
It really was. Well, that was it for the show. Were you satisfied?
It was a solid season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, just the fact that epilogue, that post-credit sequence, like, I thought the Floronic Man looked great. They even got, the way he looked in the comics with his hands, and and you could tell like he looks a lot like Swamp Thing, but there is distinct differences.
In that he is evil, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Also, like the way the regular episode, the body of the episode ended, that's exactly how you want a season 1 to end, where your hero's like, okay, I have a mission now, and Abby stands beside him and be like, I'm gonna be through this with you. I don't care if you're not Alec Holland. I care about you now.
Mm-hmm. It felt a little like they had to do that. It felt hasty. They kind of had to say, and this is what they're doing forever, because that's all we're going to get. So that is the only, that part felt a little like we have to draw a bow on this. And that felt a little not tacked on, but they just needed to give the end. And so great, they're going to stand side by side and they're going to face the rot and anything else. And, great. I just wanted more seasons with them.
Yeah. And the fact that like Daniel Cassidy drives Adam Murray and that's the last we see of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, come on, there's got to be more going on with that character. Like, you know, I mean, you could definitely spin off a whole series with him.
Yep.
But
also, it turned into Predator in a way I didn't expect. with the Busey in the swamp.
Yeah, that was Jake Busey, wasn't it?
It was a Busey who was just in Stranger Things. So it took me a second to be like, was he on this show before, or did I just? Nope, I saw him in Stranger Things. That was so. Get tip your agent, Jake Busey. That's getting good guest star work. But that was gross. Those murders in the swamp were gross. Jake Busey's death was gross. I loved it.
He just like pulled his lower jaw right out. Just blood everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Avery warned them. And you know, and it's like do you think Nathan Ellery is just gonna leave the Swamp Thing alone?
No.
I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it. Mm-hmm. Man, I just, you know, everything going on here, and then Maria. Maria.
So I think that they really missed the opportunity to have her pull a "I'm not in here with them, they're in here with me." I was sad that they. No, kidding. Watchmen. No. Okay. Maria's end. That was quite an arc. That was quite a, you know, ending where she started, but worse.
Mm-hmm. Well, although it's weird because, like, you know, I mean, the way Madame Xanadu kind of puts it, I gave her a piece. Yeah. You know, so she's just gonna spend eternity in that room with Shauna, or her hallucination of Shauna.
Oof. Yeah, and the cool practical effects there with the bloody arms coming through the wall.
Oh, yes, yes, that was terrifying. Oh man, you know, there are so many horror movie directors who I would want to show this and see, like, do you see what you could do? You see what you could do practically? Mm-hmm. You see what you could do with just lighting, you know, and different things. You know, because, like, I mean, a lot of this takes place at night, and there are some, like, dark moments, but there's still enough light that you could tell what's going on, yes. And that's where you create the mood.
It's a show that I had to watch after the sun went down, because we have so much light in our TV room, but you could see what's happening, I agree, as long as it's dark outside.
Yes. Yes. Did you see that nice nod that one of the mercenaries who got killed was named Romero?
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, like the first one who he attacks, and the whole time they're calling out, Romero! George Romero, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
And yeah, Matt Cable, yeah, it's another guy's having a terrible month. The girl he loves comes back to town and falls in love with a plant.
Uh-huh. That's hard.
He gets drunk. Yes, that is hard. And you know, he gets drunk and crashes his car.
Finds out who his dad is, and his dad is a terrible human being who murders his mother.
Yes. Oh yeah, we didn't even get to that. Yeah. And then he shows up at the precinct's empty, and then a different giant plant man attacks him.
That sounded pretty fatal. So where is our Floronic Man spinoff? Like, do we get him just being evil and so much potential?
Because like there are 3 more episodes, and you could tell that they were going for that showdown of Swamp Thing versus Floronic Man.
Yeah, I am still bitterly disappointed. So, DC Universe sent me a survey, like, how is your experience going so far? And I took it for one reason and one reason only. And that's so I knew there'd be a screen at the end that said, any other thoughts for us? So I could write in all caps, bring back Swamp Thing, you cowards. So that is what I did. I'm sure my vote will make a big difference.
Actually, that's because we got a tweet from @Amar_206, who's asking, as a Swamp Thing and Flash fan, do I need to keep the DC Universe app now that Swamp Thing is over?
You know, I actually had that thought, like, ooh, if I wasn't an annual subscriber, I could probably cancel this until, I guess Titans is back in September, right?
Yeah, Titans
so
is back in
I
a couple
wouldn't
weeks.
bother canceling it, fine. I mean, I feel like DC Universe needs the support of our money, but if you were just in it for Swamp Thing...
Yeah. I mean, hang on for a while, maybe see if there's an announcement coming out in the next week or two, that maybe the show's saved or it's going someplace else.
We have no expectations of that. I mean, like, just to make that clear, right? There's been no rumors or
no.
It definitely was marketed as a series finale, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess maybe, I mean, you're going to get Doom Patrol on HBO Max. I mean, there's so much comics and there's so much like the animated backlog and there's all these DC movies that you could check out. There is a lot of vast library on that app, but in terms of new content, if you're not into Titans, or you don't know about Stargirl, I mean, you've got Young Justice. Young Justice is good.
Yeah.
I'm loving Young Justice Outsiders, and you got that Harley Quinn show coming up. So there are some things to look forward to, but like if none of that is catching your fancy, I don't really know what to tell you.
I guess what I would say is if you're gonna cancel, tell them why. Tweet at them if there's some kind of why are you canceling your service when you go to do it. Let them know it's because you canceled Swamp Thing. They have to know. The people need to make their voices heard. So if you're going to vote with your dollars, tell them why you're voting. That would be my take on it.
Yeah.
By the way, that's advice for journalism too. If you are upset with journalism, you're supposed to, if you cancel your subscription, say, I'm doing this because I don't like it, for what it's worth. That's how you give feedback. I'm not saying you should cancel your local journal. You know what? We're going to keep talking about Swamp Thing. Sorry. School's back in a couple weeks. I'm just transitioning back into that mode. So, can we talk real fast about the worst, grossest, most horrible part of the episode? And that is cooking and eating parts of Swamp Thing. So gross.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of looking forward to that episode of Binging with Babish.
Look, I'm not a medical professional. I don't know much about Alzheimer's care, but that ain't it, Chief. Oh, God.
It's also kind of weird. Like, okay, I'm a scientist. I'm going to administer this treatment, but first I gotta pan fry it. I
gotta get some butter, some olive oil, hit it with a little, I don't know, garlic or 5 spice or what goes with, like, I don't know what you choose for the rosemary
and thyme. I mean,
yeah,
paprika would probably be too much. It looked like he was chopping some onions in there.
Yeah. Abby's response was accurate. I'm sorry, what is happening here?
Also, like, that all happened with one bite, one spoonful of that stuff. So imagine if he'd given Carolyn the whole heart.
Oh. Poor Carolyn. Also, if you're locked in, are you eating solid food? I just, none of that seemed smart. None of it.
No. Oh, man. High hopes for this show.
Yeah.
And it met a lot of them. Yeah.
Take a moment to thank Derek Mears for squatting in his full suit in the rain to get one of those last shots there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a guy, because I thought, did you see his version of Friday the 13th?
No, actually, I don't think I did.
Oh, okay. I thought his Jason Voorhees was terrifying, and it's kind of a bummer that he only got one crack at that apple. and here, Swamp Thing, I thought he was amazing. I thought that performance, it got everything that you wanted from that character.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's only going to do one season, it's a tragedy. It is a real tragedy. So I think we've been bummed out enough. Sarah, any news for Swamp Thing, or is there anything more that you wanted to say about this episode?
I really enjoyed the show, and I'm sorry that we're done. And no real news. I like we said, I kept hoping for some sort of last minute reprieve or some kind of HBO WB something, but that does not seem forthcoming. So I guess we make our peace with it. I enjoyed what we got. I just feel sort of defeat. I'm sorry. It was good. I'm sad to see it go.
All right. So yeah. So now we're gonna do something we haven't done in a little while. We have a returning show next week. So today, right now, before we get to news, we're gonna talk a little bit about Preacher.
All right.
And just to kind of, we're going into season 4, which is going to be the final season. Just to recap where we were, Sarah and I both kind of watched the finale from season 3, and I'll read the recap here just so people get an idea. So the season 3 finale was called The Light Above. Years ago, Jesse couldn't bring himself to kill Grandma as he left Angelville and headed back to Texas. In the present, Jesse was determined to finally finish Grandma off and had one last throwdown with Jody and TC in the tombs. Tulip tried to escape the turned-over bus to hell, while Arseface tussled with Hitler, and the Saint of Killers and the Angel of Death took on a tank full of Nazis. Icarius extended an olive branch to Cassidy and learned L'Enfant had discovered the long-haired bastard's treachery. Last-minute reveal, Star expressed his plans to torture and murder Jesse at Masada, a Grail military compound protected by a fleet of armored helicopters and fighter planes.
Masada! This show ended so long ago. I forgot that this was all last season. This feels so ancient to me. But yeah, that's right. We had Angelville, we had Grandma, we had Jody and TC, we had all that. We wrapped it up, and now we're moving full speed ahead to, it sounds like, a lot of the key comics in the run.
Yeah. And Bill Sweeney, our executive producer, who also hosts Preacher vs. Preacher, so go check that out. There will be new episodes soon. Has kind of expressed his displeasure that there's one season left and they have about 6.5 books to cover at least.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pick and choose and move pretty briskly, but I will say this show is pretty good about moving briskly. I'm a little frustrated that Hitler is not a part of the books. So how much time are we going to spend with this character who has nothing to do? Ideally, Hitler is killed off in the first 10 minutes and we can just move past it. That would be great. But I know that they've got the Humperdoo is, I don't know, man. We got priorities, and characters that are not part of those priorities in the book, I have no patience for. Mm-hmm. Let's get this done properly.
Yeah. Well, somehow I don't see that coming, because remember, the Saint of Killers took his revenge on Satan, and it looks like Hilter is running the show now in hell.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't think we're gonna lose him in the first 10 minutes.
Fine. Well, and we're gonna find out soon because the 2-hour season premiere is Sunday.
Yes. And it looks like the big focus is going to be Jesse and Tulip, who are back together again, and they're looking to free Cassidy from his imprisonment with by Grail.
Well, yeah, the other thing that I had forgotten about season 3 was how separate everybody was. That Tulip sort of had her own thing, and Cassidy had his own thing, and Jesse had his own thing. I forgot how individual those journeys were. Tulip still has her thing with the dog god. So yeah, we got stuff to cover. A Digital Spy article talked with the cast, and we have been promised that there's going to be no unfinished business, that they are going to wrap everything up. They're not going to leave things hanging. That's a lot of stuff to wrap up. So we got 10 episodes.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's enough. That's enough of a tease. So let's move on to news for other shows.
All right, and we do have quite a bit, so I'll try to be brisk. Let's start with the CW crossover. As always, I feel like we're going to have news about the crossover every week until the end of 2019. Elizabeth Tulloch is going to be back as Lois Lane. Yay! More Lois. Yay! The crossover is going to kind of explore and deepen Supergirl and Batwoman's friendship. We sort of saw the start of that in last year's crossover, and so they're going to continue to grow as friends. I'm excited about that. Lady friends. There are some rumors that Black Lightning may appear in the crossover in a way that, he hasn't before. So nothing official, but it's been reported by enough outlets often enough that it makes me think there may be some fire to that smoke. So that'd be cool. And TV Line has a really cute quiz. They asked the cast of each of the shows trivia questions about the other shows, like what is Oliver and Felicity's daughter's name, things like that. And it was really fun to see who watches and who doesn't the different shows. The cast of Arrow does not watch any other shows. is my take on that. Yeah. Nicole Maines, who plays Dreamer on Supergirl, is a big Olicity shipper, so she was all up on the Arrow questions, which was adorable. It was kind of funny, but usually there'd be one who'd be like, I think it was. So yeah, that's cute on TV Line. So that's what I have for the crossover. Moving on to Supergirl. Jennifer Chon Garcia has been cast as Midnight in the premiere. And it sounded like Midnight is not a character who jumps out at you as from the comics.
No, not as familiar with it, but okay.
That's okay. You're not an encyclopedia. That's okay.
Hey man, this show's this is going into its 5th season, right? So
yes, very true. And she has some credits. She was on Arrow, Supernatural, The 100. I watch all those shows. I'm not quite sure she doesn't jump out at me. I'm very sorry. So anyway, that's going on. Supergirl, Arrow. There's a bunch of stuff for Arrow. Okay. Stephen Amell says he thinks the show has a super happy ending. I don't believe him.
Good for him.
I know. I think maybe he's lying to us or spinning things, because didn't he also say that about compared to the Game of Thrones finale? So I don't know, Steve. I don't know. Episode 2's title is Welcome to Hong Kong, which does that mean more flashbacks? Because
we're going back to Hong Kong. Maybe we're gonna get to see Katana again.
Come on.
Oh, come on.
Well, and actually, in light of that, Oliver apparently is going to use the first 3 episodes to reconcile with 5 characters who are maybe going to surprise us. So it could be time travel. It could be going back and meeting people in different dimensions. I mean, it could be a lot of things, and I'm really excited to see what they do and how they do it. Apparently, each episode of this final season of Arrow is as epic as a finale in terms of budget and effects and effort, and I guess they're just working nonstop on these episodes that they're giving us. So, yeah. Let's see.
Wow.
David Ramsey pulled his usual probably said too much in an interview with Cinema Blend and said they are going to touch on the Green Lantern mythos this season.
Ooh, exciting.
Was he supposed to say that?
I'm very
Who
excited.
knows? But yeah, that is exciting. And then this is not really news, but Stephen Amell tweeted that he was barreling across the country basically to see his best friend in a play. And what that means is that Stephen Amell and I think we're seeing New York theater on the same night. This was this past Saturday. He was doing Emily Bett Rickard's play off Broadway. I was doing a play on Broadway. Had I chosen differently, would I have been in a small box theater with Stephen Amell? It sounds like it. So choices. I made choices. They were the wrong choices. Because I would have been like, here's my business card, Stephen Amell. Here, listen to our show. And he would have said, security. But yeah, he apparently saw Mbet's play, which was nice. They're friends.
Aw, that's awesome.
Okay, moving on to Black Lightning. This upcoming season, apparently everybody's going to be out of their elements. They have different sets, different costumes. It kind of is like a different show. So they're kind of shaking things up for season 3 a little bit.
Wow.
Looks like Odell is going to be a main villain, perhaps the main villain, which I guess is not that big a surprise because he kind of was last season too. And Khalil, who is in a pod, is going to come back different, like Pet Cemetery different. I don't know, different.
Ooh.
And so that could affect he and Jennifer's relationship in that it sounds like maybe it will not be the same. So
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, he was never good for her, but
but I understand why her head would be turned. I understand. Okay, Legends of Tomorrow. Some changes there as well. Constantine is going to get a house, so he doesn't have to hang out on the Wave Rider, which tracks.
I wonder if it's a house of secrets.
Ed, I don't understand what you're saying right now.
So this was a thing in Justice League Dark, which was a comic came out during the New 52. So there's this thing called the House of Secrets, and there's also another one called the House of Mystery. And there are these magical houses that exist on alternate dimensional planes, and they're filled with all types of horror goodies. The House of Mystery and the House of Secrets were 2 horror anthologies that DC Comics had in like the 50s. And the way they exist now is that there is an actual house full of all of those secrets. And for a while, John Constantine was living there. And it was kind of like his headquarters. So I don't know if they will incorporate that, but I hope they do.
Well, apparently we might see Gary hanging around too, because Constantine and Gary are, kind of in a relationship. So I'm glad that Gary hasn't been tossed away as irredeemably evil. So that's nice. I'm a big Gary fan. Also, in the premiere, they're going to use the Atom suit like they never have before.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Also, in a video interview, they asked if the actor who plays Mick has done any romance novel reading to prepare for his role as a romance novel writer, and the hemming and hawing made it clear that he has not. And then Brandon Routh spoke up and said that he used to work at a B. Dalton in Des Moines, Iowa, and when he was shelving books, he would occasionally read snatches here and there. So, yet again, Brandon Routh is the perfect man. I have spent time in Des Moines. For all I know, he waited on me. I'm in my head at a B. Dalton's one time. So, Brandon Routh, perfect man. Okay, moving on to Titans. Genevieve Angelson has been cast as Dr. Eve Watson, who is close to Superboy. You will know her from Good Girls Revolt, which was cruelly and unfairly canceled at Amazon Prime after 1 season by a man with some Me Too problems. So that was really frustrating. But yeah, so she apparently is a doctor, presumably with Cadmus, I'm assuming, who does stuff to or with Connor, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah. And in Get It Together Titans news, we got leaked photos. At this point, it's a strategy, right? Like,
oh my God.
I do not understand. Are there other shows with leaked photos that we just are missing? Like, how is it this show consistently? Anyway, it's leaked photos of Superboy and Beast Boy, and Beast Boy is definitely Beast Boy with green hair, and Superboy is just kind of a tall kid in a t-shirt.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I expected Superboy to be a little bulkier. Like this is my Young Justice talking. Like I expected the deep V, the body deep V. You know what I'm saying?
Well, also you remember that body double that they used in the season 1 finale, and that little tease.
I do remember. Yes, thank you for asking. So it didn't look like the same. It could have been a PA standing there is what I'm saying, honestly. So anyway, that went to a pervy place. Let's move on. Watchmen.
Watchmen music. Okay.
All right. So the show is going to premiere on HBO in October. And it's going to focus on the central conflict is going to be between police and a white supremacist group that calls themselves the 7th Cavalry. Both groups are masked. Masks are a big thing. We've seen a lot of this in the lead up. And then an IndieWire article talked to David Lindelof. He wanted to write a show that had the same political timeliness that the 1980s comic did with the US-Russia conflict, the Cold War, things like that. And so he leaned heavily into race relations. It sounds like he decided to set it in Tulsa in part because of the race riots in Tulsa in 1921, where Black Wall Street, which was one of the most prosperous Black communities in the U.S. at the time, was kind of destroyed in a race riot that left a lot of people dead, huge amounts of damage that is absolutely examined in history books. Like I didn't learn about it. Ed, you didn't learn about it in school? Yeah. No, so it's this really uncovered, unknown in a lot of areas, aspect of U.S. history, a nasty aspect of U.S. history, but he wanted to lean into that. He's reading a lot of Ta-Nehisi Coates as he's putting it together. So it is, boy, that sounds heavy, but I mean, it's Damon Lindelof, he does heavy, and it's Watchmen, and that's heavy too. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see, in slightly less heavy, well, I don't know. This world is going to have no internet and no smartphones because President Robert Redford realized that the anonymity afforded you by the internet leads to toxicity. And so he said, we're not having that in my country. And he just outlawed it because President Robert Redford can do that. I just like saying President Robert Redford. So that is what's going on with Watchmen.
The benefits of fascism.
But Robert Redford makes it look good. Like, he's an attractive fascist president, and everybody says, I don't like his policies, but that jawline.
It's still unbelievable. It's still incredible that they actually got him. That's
I'm still kind of mind blown by it. Yeah. Last bit of news. Why the Last Man?
Why music?
Why? Sorry. Brian K. Vaughan visited the writer's room and posted some positive feedback on Instagram. He's pleased with where it's going. He's excited about the direction. And I guess most of all, it's just an assurance to us that it's still happening.
Yeah. Like that's like there's a writer's room. Like, I thought they just hired like 2 new showrunners, but I thought that was just kind of like to scuttle this. I'm wondering, like, now, are they going to reshoot that pilot? Are they going to recast anybody? Like, what is the deal with that show? What is going on?
What is the deal? I have not heard anything about recasting, anything like that, but who knows? It sounds like they're a ways away from any kind of, I mean, we haven't talked about release dates. We haven't seen sets or photos from the set or anything. So who knows? But I guess it's still clicking.
All right.
And that is it for news.
All right. Cool. All right. That means now it's time for our winners of the week. Sarah, you mind if I go first?
No, please do.
All right, so I had a theme this week, and it was dreams. I feel like dreams showed up a lot this week. You had Alfred and Pennyworth who kept waking up to those nightmares, remembering his past in the field. On iZombie, Liv and Major got to live out their dreams. And
I just like the way you said that.
That's kind of like shoehorning it in, but that's the best I could find. It's sort of true. On Krypton, you had the Black Mercy create that fantasy dream world for Lyta, and in Swamp Thing, Maria Sunderland, Madame Xanadu, stuck her in a permanent dream world where her daughter Shauna was still alive. So yeah, that's what I found running through the DC Comics TV shows this week. That's my winners for the week. Dreams.
Nice. That's good. That's really good. And as per usual, I'm just going super, super literal. And I'm going to say, honestly, iZombie is my winner of the week because that is a show that I worried about being canceled or renewed at the end of every season because it was so weird and funny and dramatic and scary and interesting and wacky, and every upfronts I'd be so worried that it just would be cruelly ripped from us. But no, it came back and it came back and it reinvented itself and it evolved and it gave us incredible characters in fresh settings, and it got to end on its own terms as it wanted to. And I think that's a miracle in this day and age. So iZombie, you did it, and thank you for that. Winner of the week.
I say ye, iZombie. and
wait, we didn't. How did we not do this? How did we not say bye, zombie? Like, hi,
bye, zombie.
Bye, zombie.
Bye, zombie. and yeah, and now, unfortunately also ye, Swamp Thing. You hardly knew ye.
Taken too soon.
All right. Oh, Sarah, that's I think that's it.
I think you're right.
That's the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer, Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam.